Hey, what's up, guys? This video is about women's psychology, about something they do often, and it doesn't matter if it's when you first meet them or you're their husband for 20 years. Okay, they're going to do shit tests slash bitch tests, I call it, or compliance tests, because what it does do, and in the name of itself, is to test you. Okay, and they do it both consciously and I don't think I know unconsciously. Okay, it is just something because women are a lot more emotionally intelligent than men are. Okay, and socially intelligent. So what they do is throw out there. It could be like a roadblock, or it could be acting like a bitch. And I fell into this myself many times in the past, and I learned from it, and I learned how to deal with it now. Okay, like most effectively, and I'll get into how to deal with it effectively. But I think this is great advice for young guys, specifically maybe in their 20s and 30s, or maybe you have a wife who is a bit of a bitch to you, and she's doing these tests to you, and you're not reacting most effectively that a male should be. And I'm going to lay out there how, to, as a man, to approach these. But first of all, the most important thing I'm going to get right into right off the bat right now is that you have to recognize it. If you don't recognize it for what it is, you're going to fall into it, and it's going to become an action reaction dynamic that's not going to be in your favor because you're going to be one being reactive. And to be honest, guys that are reactive are kind of the more non-male stereotype alpha male types. Okay, I hate to use the word alpha male, but that's the way it is, dominant wise. Okay, just being dominant and assertive. If you're the one on the reactive side and your woman is, especially right off the bat, dominating the social dynamic, you're not going to get very far because what's going to happen is very quickly they're going to lose respect for you. And if you're in a relationship that's, say, years and this is happening, they're going to lose respect for you. And you're potentially, I think this is one of the lead uh, reasons for divorce, a lot of it, or cheating a lot of time as well. So the first thing you got to do is once you recognize it is don't become defensive. Okay, there's something in psychology, look up Freudian defense mechanisms. Okay, and women know this, recognize these a lot better than guys do, unless you are a guy who study this thing and is intelligent themselves. And this is what I'm trying to bring this intelligence to you. I'm not saying whoever's listening isn't intelligent, but okay, defense mechanisms. You don't want to. This comes about being reactive again. When being defensive is being reactive to their action. Okay, that's not what you want to do because that's falling into the trap. And what the trap is the test. It's a shit test. It's a psychological test, and they're testing you on what your response is. Okay, so uh, some of the best things you can do is come back with your own test. It's that simple. Isn't it interesting that it's called a test and it's all about having some testosterone and some kind of dominance? Coming back with a little bit of testosterone, a little bit of the test yourself, okay? And that's your own shit test. Lesson number one. So that is could be as simple as teasing her or making fun of her when as soon as she shit tests you, make fun of her in a lighthearted way. Don't like bring her down like in a bad way or anything. I'm not suggesting that. Lighthearted tease, okay, very important. And actually she'll, even though some guys might be like, if I tease her, she won't like me. No, it's actually respect you, and if it's done in a funny way, if you make her laugh doing it, like that's an important thing. And leads to my next point, which is having a sense of humor. Like if you lose your sense of humor in the shit test and you become all serious and again reactive and defensive, you failed the test. That's not a manly thing to do. That's what bitches do. Bitch being a bitch male. Maybe I'll make a video about that. What is a bitch male in the future? But when you can come back with a sense of humor, and just show that it doesn't affect you, it kind of makes them like be like, oh, second guess their bitch test in a way. Like, if it's not done well, then it failed, and then you made their shit test fail, and all of a sudden they're the ones reacting to you. Okay. Now, I don't want to make this all about some kind of existential power struggle. That's not what it's about. But you're doing it in a lighthearted way, so it's like not effective. It's not a big deal, right? You're making things not a big deal, whereas a lot of guys would make it a big deal. Now, some of these tests are more serious than others, and what some of the responses that you might have to do might be more serious than like what I just said in the last sense, which is a sense of humor test. Like, sometimes that might not be the best response to. Okay, so sometimes her shit tests like might be a bit coming across as an interrogation in some way, or might be like a 1, 2, 3 kind of punch where she has multiple things coming at you at once. Right? You got to deal with like this because we're a bit more chaotic in that sense. Okay, and guys are very linear thinking. If she knows you're how predictable you are, then she'll know what your response might be. So, a degree of unpredictable nature is also a good thing. So sometimes you have to be serious and in your response, and might need to turn it up a notch in seriousness more than hers are. Okay, it's not to make things, not to become hot-headed, but if she makes it serious, then you make it more serious. Okay, but in a direct way, non-aggressive way, if that makes sense. And but at the same time, then if it goes past a certain point where maybe you made your point, then come back to a more of a position where it's a reassurance position on just like everything's okay, like fine, we're fine. And then a redirect method where you're talking about this and you bring in something else, like to direct away from her shit test and into a new topic, a new thread of conversation, which is more, again, lighthearted and not having to do with that level of seriousness if it does come to that, okay? But the important thing the most important message I want to lay out here, one of them is learning how to stand your ground as a man. You don't want to be having to put up with bad behavior with a woman. Again, whether it's one you just meet at a club or like you're on your second or third date, and they're doing these shit tests to you. You don't want to be putting up that bad behavior, and you kind of want to call them out on it in an appropriate way, and they'll gain respect in the end, and then they'll want to fuck you in the end. That's what I didn't understand for the longest time. It's because for guys, it's kind of like an anomaly, like enigma. Like, wait, if I don't like totally comply with her, that means that I'm gonna get laid. Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen, because she's gonna see you as somebody who stands up for themselves and has a sense of humor and calls them out. That's kind of what they want. They'll respect you, because a lot of times they're doing these things subconsciously, even when they consciously realize what the fuck they're doing and that they look like an asshole. Then you have the upper hand. I'm not saying that it's not a power struggle. It's just the way it is. And then they're gonna be like, okay, this guy's a good guy. Open their legs to you. That's just how it works. And they're going to see you as somebody who has value and self-importance and sticks up for themselves. That's the traits that they're looking for in a guy. That's what it comes down to. And if you're somebody who's with a girl for a long time, like a wife, who is doing these things, and maybe you need to shift your behavior a bit because her bitch tests and her just nature, it might be a bit over domineering. And if it doesn't change when you shift your behavior to some of the things I'm recommending, where if you stand your ground and or have a sense of humor or things, and it just continues, well, then you have to reevaluate potentially the relationship because it might not be one that's healthy. That in that point it becomes emotionally abusive. Okay, but no matter what the girl, like, I know a lot of guys might be like, oh, I'll look for a girl who doesn't do these bitch tests. Trust me, you don't want those ones. You want one who actually does do these things, okay? Because that means that they have some self worth and understanding, or are projecting upon you what they want to see. They're testing you, and that's a great thing. Like, my background in psychology, psychological tests, very smart thing to do. I think we should all be doing it with everybody, in like a work environment, in our relationships with our children. Psychological tests, even though it might be perceived as being manipulative, it can be. It doesn't, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so when you recognize, my first initial point, you recognize it, then you don't fall into it, and you can deal with it in a great, effective way yourself. And the best thing to do is then pass these tests with some degree of confidence. And when you do that confidence and you show that you're not being affected negatively by it, then they might be like, wait, who is this guy? Right? Oh, he's kind of. And then they're going to be more interested in you, and it's going to work in your favor in the end. I'll leave it there, guys. Anybody want to add to this? Like, this is a topic I could talk about more extensively, but I like to keep these videos at around 10-minute mark. I'm at 12 minutes now, and I just want to keep it straight to the point. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this video? Does it make sense? Am I wrong in some ways? Leave in the comments below. Love to hear your all thoughts and opinions on this video on the standard women bitch test. What a great video. I love this topic. Anyway, thank you. Bye.